Hello and welcome to Saw Tackle. As you can see, this episode we're not actually in the caravan for a change, so we're actually in my little area where I do all my baits and bait prep and everything. So that's basically what we're looking at talking about. For the last few days, obviously fishing is back. A few people are getting back on the banks, which is great. One thing I've been asked about is dead maggots. There seems to be a bit of confusion about dead maggots. People are not sure about them. So I just thought I'd just show you a little quick demonstration of dead maggots. It's one thing that is really good to use. In fact, some days, surprisingly enough, dead maggots can actually outfish live maggots. There's a lot more you can do with dead maggots as well. Things like side hooking. When you side hook a dead maggot, obviously they don't burst like a live maggot does. Why would you side hook them? Basically, you would side hook them so you can get the fall differently. Obviously, if you put maggots in the water, they don't fall through the water pointy side down or blunt side down. They fall through the water on their side. So the way to get them to fall through the water a lot slower, especially when it's warm like this and you want to try and fish in up in the surface, is to side hook them. So there's a little trick for you. What else with dead maggots? The other thing with dead maggots is if you're fishing ponds, which is a lot, we all are at the moment, dead maggots don't burrow into the silt on the bottom. So if you're putting maggots in, obviously the maggots will fall down nicely and settle on the bottom. Whereas live maggots will have a tendency to want to burrow into the silt, which means the fish will come along and they'll start digging for those maggots, trying to find them, and they'll cause a big cloud, and that's generally when you start to get foul hooks, because the fish are so preoccupied at digging around that they run into the hook and you end up catching them in the side and in the pectoral fins and things like that, which is what we don't want to be doing. So even though dead maggots won't stop foul hooking, but it is a good way of getting around it. Also, if we're using bits of ground bait, dead maggots, because they don't wriggle, don't break the ground bait up too quick, so you can actually, instead of having to squeeze ground bait together, you can put it quite nice and loose. So as you can see, there's loads and loads of reasons for using dead maggots, but it's getting your head round thinking I'm using dead bait and not live bait. Right, so dead maggots, you see we do them in the shop. These are just some dead reds, as a lot of them are called. People mainly know them as dead reds, but obviously we do whites and bronze. Don't really do many mix. We also do pinkies as deads. So they come to you like that. That's half a pint. So what you need to do, so obviously when you get home, chuck them in the freezer. Obviously don't tell the other half. So when you're out on the bank, obviously take them out of the bag. You need to be conscious in the environment with the bag. That's look a bit of a mess, really, don't they? That's basically it. Dead maggots. Now the way I do mine, I'm gonna have a drink of juice because it's warm in here. That's better. Right, the way I do mine is I'll put what I want and break them up a little bit because they're still frozen. Probably the time you get to the bank they won't be frozen, to be fair, but these I've just literally had them in my bait shed, took them and straight out the freezer. Right, so in a tub or bait tray, bit of water, so simple to get on the bank. Basically just light covering with water really, and that is basically it. I mean, obviously they won't come back to life, but they will plump up a little bit as they start to defrost. And then what you can do is that, obviously that water's, now you can tip that water away. So, because the dead maggots tend to do get bits of maize and all sorts stuck to them, so you can clean them off a little bit. Add a bit more water to them. And then we'll just tip that off. So just drain most of the water off, exchange. I mean, you can give them a couple of cleans through if you wanted to. So basically that is dead reds. So the other thing you could do to your dead reds is, I mean, we've got loads of little bits of flavourings in here. You could squirt of brasim, all sorts of bit of vanillide secret. So you could flavour them up, so there's no stopping you doing that. So what I would do normally is, from sat on the bank, especially when it's warm like today, is I'd keep them in a bit of water. So I'd just literally just cover them with a small amount of water, and then that will be it. That will be me hookers. So just to so let's put those on there. So they're softening up quite nicely now. Right, bits of towels and stuff all over in here. Let's find a bit of an hook. We'll use a big hook, or big-ish hook. So just as a demonstration, really. So what you can do, like we're saying, you can pick one out. These are starting to plump up a little bit now, taking on some water. Look, one, oh, you can see it very well. So what you can do is, obviously, like I was saying, if I turn around to the camera, so what we can do, we can see, oh, there we go, that's a little bit better, isn't it? So what we can do, he says, is side up that. So like I was saying, that when that falls through the water, it'll fall, maggots go through the water that way. They don't go through the water pointy side down, do they? So that will give you a nice slow fall. Fish are still going to take that, whether it's live or dead. Let's try and give you so that will just come through the water nice and slowly, and it's just ideal for fishing on the drop. That's basically it, really. It's just to give you a bit of confidence in using dead maggots. There's nothing wrong with using them at all. I mean, in fact, it's a way of, if you can do, saving on some bait. So if you get to an end of the session, you've still got a bit of maggots left, just put them in a bag like that. No, I've done. Put them in a bag, squeeze all the air out, and chuck them in the freezer, and then they're there for next time when you need them. So that's it, really. Just a quick tip. So don't be afraid to use dead maggots. It can be a bonus. Okay, I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.